Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can be notified of new card making tutorials from me. And today I'm introducing you to a brand new word die set, and this is from the Stamps of Life, which can be purchased on hsn.com. So this will actually be featured on HSN in the month of August, and these are called the Fearless Words. And there are words such as you got this, you matter, be fearless, think happy thoughts, and dream big. So you can see how large these die cuts are, and the font is beautiful. So just want to show you each one of these words comes with its shadow layer. So here's the shadow layer, and I die cut that out of the blue. And then it comes with the actual letters, which I die cut that out of the white, and I just layered on the white with the blue on each one of these pieces. So these are pretty large. So this is an actual A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So you can see how large they are when you put them on a card base. So you can either put it this way, or you can put it horizontal. And if you wanted to, do another stamp or do a stencil behind it, that would actually look really beautiful. So I'm just gonna put these on this card base just so you can kind of get an idea of the size. And then you can die cut these in any color cardstock that you want. Now this one's a little bit larger because it has some larger words in it. So think happy thoughts. So when you put it this way, when you're using the shadow layer, it does extend a little bit beyond the card base, but that's okay. I mean, it doesn't go off too much. Or you can put it this way on that card base. And then the Dream Big, that one I love. This is a super large die, so you can see what that looks like when you have it this way and then when you have it this way. So it takes up pretty much a large part of this card base. So really, if you wanted to just maybe put a nice piece of pattern paper behind there or do a stenciled look behind there, that's really, pretty much sometimes you can get a card done with just that big word die. And I just love how those look. So I'm starting out with a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock cut to 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I'm just putting some tape here on the back just to hold this in place on my glass mat. I am going to be doing some ink blending, and I'm going to be using the Pixie and the Grape Stamps of Life ink. So I'm going to start out with the Grape, and then I'm going to move down to the Pixie. Now I also die cut a piece of, this is actually just a regular piece of cardstock, and I die cut it out of the cloud border from the Borders die set, and because I want to create a cloud background going along this card. So you'll see me as I go down, and I'll have to move it across because it's not as long as the cardstock. So I just want to quickly just show you what I did. So I have a piece of a cloud die cut, and I started out with the Grape ink, and I just blended some grape ink, and as I finished one side, I just moved this over and then blended some more. And then once I was done with that row, I came in with the Pixie ink, and I blended some of the Pixie all the way through that row. And then the next row was Grape, and then Pixie, and it just rotated so that way you can see the variance in the colors. So you see some darker purple and then some of the lighter purple. Now I do want to show you a couple things because I did mess up on a couple of other ones that I did. So just so that if you are duplicating this card, you kind of be observant to this. So this is the first layer that I did, and notice that there are some lines, some vertical lines in here, and that's because when I did my ink blending, I was actually ink blended off of this die cut. And when you ink blend off of the die cut, you get these vertical lines. So you have to be careful that when you're ink blending, that you're ink blending and maybe stop before you get to that vertical line. And then bring your die cut back over, and then don't start right at that vertical line. Start more inward, because again, that's gonna put these harsh lines in here, and it's kind of just going to mess up your beautiful background. So that is just of a what not to do. And then here you can see the difference where I don't have any of the lines, those harsh lines going down my background. So I think the variation in the different purples, I think that makes the cloud scene just much prettier. I'm going to be using my rainbow die to create a rainbow die cut, and this is the Stamps of Life die. And I'm going to die cut it out of different color cardstock, and I'm going with the pastel look. So I have lemonade, I have cherry, cantaloupe, kiwi, sea glass, and I have pixie. So I'm gonna die cut this out of each one of these cardstock pieces. So here are all of the rainbows that I die cut with the various color cardstock. Next, I'm going to take some double-sided foam adhesive, and I'm gonna die cut just the clouds out of the double-sided foam. So here are my cloud die cuts in the foam adhesive. Next, I'm going to die cut that same cloud out of just some simple white, this is the powdered sugar cardstock. Next, I'm going to take my sea glass ink, and I'm just going to ink up the edges of the cloud. Just going to add a little bit of a blue color to the edge. Next, I'm going to peel back the front of the cloud, the double-sided adhesive, and I'm going to make sure you find the matching cloud die cut, and then just pop that on the front. So next, I'm just going to place the rainbow strips where I want them, just making sure I get all of the little paper hairs off of them. And I am going to put them in the order of the color of the rainbow. Again, I went with the pastels. So I'm going with just a little bit lighter of those, of the primary colors. So now I'm going to use my glue, and I'm going to remove each strip individually and add some glue to the back. And I am using my Tombow liquid glue because this glue is easy to reposition. It doesn't dry quick. So it gives me that time if I need to reposition it. Right, so now I have that first one in place. Now I'm ready to go with the next one. And remember, just try and get all of these little paper pieces off the ends. Running the die through the die cut, there's all these little paper shavings. So I'm going to peel back the adhesive backing, and I'm going to pop these clouds on the bottom of this rainbow. I trimmed down this top part just slightly in my paper trimmer because it had a harsh purple line going across the top edge, just like you see here, and I didn't like that, so I just trimmed it off so that it's just white going all the way around. Okay, so now I am going to do my Dream Big. So I'm gonna have the Dream Big die cut here. So I'm gonna die cut the shadow layer out of the sea glass. So that's gonna be the shadow layer, and then the top layer is gonna be out of the powdered sugar. I did put the double-sided adhesive on the back of this white cardstock, which is the Dream Big word, before I ran it through my die cut machine. And then I'm gonna add it to my shadow layer, which I cut out of the sea glass cardstock. So I adhered that cloud layer with the rainbow to a piece of cherry cardstock, which measures 3 3/8 by 8 3/8. And then I'm putting my Dream Big word die off to the right here. And then this is gonna go on a Slimline card base. This is in sea glass. And this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, which I scored it. Actually, I cut an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper down to 8.5 by 7, and then I scored it at 3 inches and folded that in half to create my card base. So this is just gonna go right on there. And I just love all these colors. Notice that in the card base and then the layer, I'm using all the same colors that are in the rainbow. So I have the sea glass and the cherry, and then of course that ink cloud background is the pixie, which is the same that's in the rainbow. But I think that's so pretty. So here's my card, and I just love how that turned out. So you can see how that Dream Big die cut, it fits so nicely, especially on a Slimline card. It's nice and big. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know. Remember that these word dies are only available on hsn.com, so hop on over there if you're interested and do a search for the Stamps of Life. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.